How are you guys doing? It's almost time for our garden to start coming in. So it's time to clean out the freezer of some of the older meat that we've had for a while. So right now I'm cutting up some beef roasts into about 1-inch cubes. Throw them in my pot here. Some of them have fat, some have gristle. It doesn't matter. We're making stew beef. We had a friend give us a bull a couple of years ago who had unfortunately broken its leg. So we helped him out by getting rid of that for him. And we have some left over. So it's time to take it on down the line. We've eaten a lot of roasts, but we eat stew beef a lot better. But like I say, I'm cutting it up into cubes, you know, just like you would buy out of your local grocery store. Alright, as you can see, we're just about done. With cutting up of the beef. Now you can can any kind of meat. A lot of people are afraid of canning meat. There's no need to be. When you're busy, whether you have a farm, whether you're a working mom, whether you just want to be prepared in case of a power outage, it's always nice to have canned meat on hand. So, there we go. We've got a 5-quart Dutch oven right there, full of my cubes. Like I said. Alrighty, I got my jars out of the dishwasher. That way they're nice and clean and sterilized. Right now, I'm putting canning salt in my jars. I'm putting a 1/2 teaspoon since I'm using pints. If I was using quarts, it would be a full teaspoon. I've already looked at my jars and made sure that there's no nicks on the top and that there's no cracks. So, I've got salt in there. Get it out of the way. I'm just going to take my tongs and get some of the pieces of meat and put in there until it's full. Then I've got a chopstick. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to mash everything in there down. That way more stuff, more beef will fit into the jar. And it also reduces the air pockets. We need to leave about 1 inch headspace on top. I can put just a little bit more in there because this will shrink up a lot during cooking, just like normal whenever you cook it. We do not need to add any water to this. It will make its own broth. I've got my rings and my flats. And the only thing that I need to do is put them hand tight, like this right here, until I get them all the way full. Or get all of them full, I should say. Then I will put them in a pressure canner until they're done. For pints, they're going to cook 1 hour and 15 minutes on 10 pounds of pressure. And quarts cook for 1 hour and a half on 10 pounds of pressure. That's what I use for all my different meats, regardless of what kind that it is. I was really surprised the first time that I actually canned meat that it made as much of the broth in there as what it did. It's really good. But I'm just going to keep going along like this right here until I get them full. Then I'll show you as we put them in the canner. Alrighty, that's the last of this beef. Make sure it's all pushed down in there. Wipe this off to make sure that we don't have any meat or anything dropped that could prevent it from sealing. Putting the last lid on. So now I just need to rinse my canner, and then I'll get these in there and we'll start getting them up to pressure. I've already got the gas turned on in the canner. I have to bring it up to temperature before we put the weights on there. Get all these in there. And FYI, you cannot get as many wide mouth pints in there. That's what I'm used to. You have to put water in here. And there's a certain way to put these on. You've got a little V right here on the handle, and you've got a V right here on your lid. Put that on there, and you close it. And you leave it on high heat until it starts to steam a lot out of here. And then when it comes up to pressure, this little button right here will stand up. This one rises up maybe a ½ inch or so, and that lets you know that you're under pressure. You let it steam after it comes up to pressure. That way it can force all the air that's in there out. And then once it comes up to pressure, you're going to put your little weight on there, reduce the heat some, and it's going to rock back and forth like that right there. And these will cook for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I'll show you what they look like in a little bit. This is what I was talking about, coming up to pressure and the steam coming out. So I go get my camera too close, I don't want to damage it, but you can see the steam and the wisps coming up from there. And back here on the back, that little thing has popped up about ½ inch. So it just came up to pressure. So I'm going to let that go for a couple of minutes. Then I'll put my little weights on there. And then I'll begin timing when it starts to jingle. This one, as of yet, has not come up to pressure. But it will. Okay. The pressure has dropped on this after it cooked for the 1 hour and 15 minutes under pressure. So I'm going to take my weight off. See, that's down. My second canner is still up, so it's still under pressure. That's how you tell. So I'm going to slide this over. Take the top off. Wiggle around until I can get a hold of one of these things. That's always the funnest thing. Look at the bubbles in that. This will stay hot for hours. So just bring it over and set it down. And as it cools, it will pull the seal down. And it will make a popping sound like the one you just heard from one of the other ones. I've got 10 of the pints, and I have got 14 of the quarts. Ah, did you hear that one just seal? These will stay good for years. Normally I put vinegar, white vinegar, in my canners, but I forgot to, and I have hard water. It has limestone in there, so I have that white coloration on the outside of my jars. Does it hurt anything? Just makes the jars a little ugly. But as you can tell on these, I didn't forget, so they are pretty like they should be. But this is several meals for just a day's time. Don't be afraid of canning. Don't be afraid of canning meat. It's really easy, and you've got something that will last forever. Well, maybe not forever, but for years.